It's like you do whatever you
The
need.
regular season is over for the Cubs and everybody else. And for the Cubs, it's time to play postseason baseball for the first time in 7 years. Can Jake Arrieta continue his dominance and pitch the Cubs into an NLDS showdown with the arch-rival Cardinals? Or will the Pirates' experience make Cubs fans wait till next year? Bad J and Good J both on display at Soldier Field after throwing another big interception late. Cuddy rallies to help the Bears finally break into the win column. Can they keep the momentum going into Kansas City, or will more injuries catch up with them? That and more today. Sports Talk Live starts right now. Welcome into Sports Talk Live, presented by the Chevy Silverado. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm David Kaplan. Panel for today's Fun Fest. We've got our man, Sahadev Sharma here, Adam Johns, who does great work on the Bears beat, and former Bear, Jason McKee. All right, let's start with the Chicago Cubs, who are headed to the playoffs for the first time since 2008, but they will not have home field advantage in the wild card, despite an 8-game win streak to end the season. The Pirates did win yesterday over the Reds, so the Cubs will start that guy, Jake Arrieta, on the bump Wednesday night. Sahadev, he goes to the post as the hottest pitcher to enter the postseason that I can remember in a long, long time. If you think of anybody, no one has had the type of second half this guy's had. What do you think going into Wednesday night?
Confidence, that's what I think. It's hard for me to pick against the Cubs right now when Jake Arrieta's on the mound. There's been, as someone that watches the Cubs regularly, I can't remember a time when you just go into a game with a particular pitcher starting and saying, this is a win.
I like the swagger, too, and he's willing to share it, even on social media. We were just talking before.
But he's sharing it without being jerky about it.
Yeah, you like it. I mean, it probably, comes from the whole clubhouse there, and especially with the manager, but from your pitcher at a time like this to be kind of taunted, like we were talking about, from a parody account from the Pirates, he's having fun with it, and there's a confidence there. You got to love it.
I'm just ready to watch the game. We debated about it, who would be the starter, Lester Arrieta. I'm glad they put the right guy on the mound. I think Arrieta is the right guy to get the job done. So I'm just really excited to go out there and see them win this game.
If you were sitting in his shoes, you played professional sports, the three of us did not. If you were in his shoes and you had this unbelievable run going and people are tweeting at you and firing on you, doing interviews, would you exude the confidence or go, I'm just looking forward to Wednesday night and not say a word?
I would probably take a step back and just stay in my mode. He's obviously has a lot going for him. He has his rhythm going. Continue your pregame preparations and don't. They're going to try to do everything they can to get you off your routine. Stay to your routine. Routine has been working. 20 consecutive quality starts, to end the season. Stay in your routine and get the job done.
He was at Wrigley today, did a radio show on ESPN 1000, then left and went to Wrigley to throw a side session before he went out to O'Hare because he said, that's how I've done it all year long. It keeps me in my routine.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to get this guy out of his routine. I mean, he's almost borderline obsessive about it. I've tried to approach him once before I knew him earlier in this season, before I had gotten his routine down, because you got to learn it as a reporter too. I approached him and I didn't realize he was in the middle of doing things, and he kind of said, hey, wait, later on, quickly, like, shut me down. I was like, oh, okay. And then he found me and came back to me and said, okay, now I'm ready. He has to be ready to talk. He's got it down. He's got a way that he does things. There's no way of breaking it.
He also seems to be embracing the moment, too, and just the magnitude of being in the playoffs and the starting pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. I don't know how the ESPN thing was set up, but he was on for an hour, I believe. They replayed it, too. And just to be that accessible at a time like this, you know how some pitchers can get, some athletes can get, like you said, they want to shut it down, stay away from all the attention, they want to focus. But to embrace everything about what this is to the city, the Cubs, and just everything is pretty special.
He said that the other day, he made the start, Friday did he pitch in Milwaukee?
Yep.
He said, I went to breakfast with my wife and kids and her family. He said, we went out, then we went to a park, and then I went and did my job. He said, I try and be as normal a guy as possible, where I remember Randy Johnson, you could not get near him within 12, 14 hours of him pitching. He was foaming at the mouth. He said, even his own teammates are like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean,
Jake's not that way.
Yeah, every athlete's different. Some athletes have to have peace and quiet, or they can't be around anybody. Some athletes, like you said, Arrieta likes to keep things as normal as possible. But, for him, I think, just like I said, keep your routine, go out there and do your job, execute, bring home the win.
Check out some of the highlights of the 2015 season. It's our stat of the day, driven by the Chevy Silverado. The Cubs' 97 wins are the most since 2008. The 24-win improvement is the most in baseball this year. They went 48-33 on the road. That's the best in the bigs. The first time they had baseball's best road record since 1989. Cubs finished with an 8-game winning streak. First time since 1935. They've had multiple 8-game streaks. Okay, you said you have confidence in Jake Arrieta. The Cubs have won 8 straight. Pirates scuffled a little bit, split a doubleheader in St. Louis, had to watch the Cardinals celebrate on their field, and then they struggled with the Reds. Could have lost Friday, did lose Saturday, won yesterday. Cubs are red hot. So does that give you more confidence going in, or it's a one-game deal?
No, it's a one-game deal. You can't just go off especially last week or 2 weeks. It's baseball. It's 162 games. We know how things change so quickly.
I get that. And I also like that Arrieta has won there, and the Cubs have won there recently. Then they just win two games there.
They won 3 of 4.
So I don't think they're intimidated by what other situation they could throw there. You know, having that familiarity definitely helps in a situation like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy that. You know, obviously Pittsburgh finishing not the way they wanted to, but it's a one-game series. You know, they're at home. You got your best pitcher Cole on the mound, so they're going to give you everything they got, and I think the Cubs will be up for the challenge.
When you played, would you like a one-game situation like this where, hey, man, we go out, we got our ace, they got their ace, let's see what happens? Or, nah, it's unfair to a team to win 98 or 97, the Pirates or the Cubs, to go home after one game?
I mean, it's the NFL playoffs. It's win or go home. Regardless if you're the #1 seed in the playoffs. I can recall back in 2005, we were the #2 seed. We had Carolina. Carolina came in here and beat us.
Steve Smith beat you.
Steve Smith destroyed us. And that's what happens. You got to play your best when it means most. And Wednesday, it matters everything for the Cubs.
It's like, who was it, the Saints that lost to the Seahawks?
Yeah, because they had to go to Seattle.
That was the beginning of beast mode, right? So, certain players rise to certain situations,
right.
But yeah, you would hope that the Cubs have all their
Would you
things in line.
change the format and make it best of 3?
I think I'd change the format. You can't be upset with how it is now. I mean, you can't be upset with the fact that it's one game now. There's nothing you can complain about now. It is what it is. But the fact is, I think there's got to be a way to get creative and not make 162 games come down to one game.
All right,
shorter season. Why not a shorter season?
Yeah, that's the. I mean, I'd love to see that.
Money
it's just not going to happen.
Shrinks. It means payroll goes down because when guys get paid goes down by 8 games or whatever. Players aren't going to go for that.
Owners aren't going to go for that.
So you know what you do? You add 3 day-night doubleheaders during the season, so you can end the season 3 days early.
I'd even take reseeding after the wild card game. I'd accept that if the Cubs Pirates winner didn't have to face the top team because they don't have the worst record. I'd like to see reseeding possibly after the wild card game. I think that makes sense if you're not going to extend it.
Does Kyle Schwarber start in right field, left field? Does he not start? Who starts?
Who can get into Joe Madden's head? Has anyone been able to get into Joe Madden's head yet? I've been going back and forth on this, and it makes sense if you're going to play the weakest defensive outfielder in right field in Pittsburgh because of the weight.
Smallest of the fields out there.
So I mean, it's not that he's a weak defender; it's that he's not the fastest, most athletic out of if you're going to play Coughlin or even
okay,
Bryant.
So if it was you, and you were writing out the lineup card, and you're a big analytic guy, is Bryant at third and Coughlin in left, or is Bryant in left, Schwarber in right, Fowler in center, and LaStella is at third?
I think Baez is at third. I put Baez at third because Baez is your best defensive third baseman, and you have
who's at second, Castro or LaStella?
Castro. Castro that month that he had. I mean, LaStella, I get the numbers with the lefty against Cole, but Cole also I think has a slight reverse split. It's almost negligible. So you can't really play lefty righty with him. I like the way Castro's been playing the last month. I think Baez gives you got a ground ball pitcher on there, a strikeout guy and a ground ball guy, and Jake Arrieta. You want the best chance to make outs with those ground balls.
Then you got Bryant in left and Schwarber in right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you want Schwarber's bat.
Yeah, you definitely want
right?
Schwarber's bat.
Because one swing can break open a game.
And he's got that swing to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a big advocate of just, you have options. That's the beauty of it. I know if you put Brian in left, I know that's not his natural position, so I don't think I would put him there. Maybe keep him at third, and like you said, Schwarber at right field. Obviously, you need his bat, especially against a good pitcher like Cole, who's had some success against the Cubs. So I think it'll be interesting to see what Madden does, but let's hope he comes up with the right recipe for success because, it's going to mean, like we said, everything on Wednesday.
Yeah, see, I bring Javi in for defense.
I can see that.
I start Schwarber in right, Coughlin in left, Bryant at third, Russell, Castro, Rizzo, Montero with Jake on the hill.
Yeah.
And then I bring Baez in for the seventh
I'd
inning.
have trouble sitting Coughlin just
second.
because I think he's the type of guy that can also step up. I've spent
Reminds
enough
me of
time
Cody
around
Russ.
him. Yeah, he's the type of guy that I could totally see going under the radar and having a real nice postseason.
All right, here's today's Jimmy John's freaky fast poll question. What is your biggest question heading into the wild card game? A, who starts in left? B, who starts at third? C, can the Cubs hit Garrett Cole? D, how few hits will Arrieta allow? To vote, CSNChicago.com. Updated results throughout the show. Order Jimmy John's sandwich delivery today. Yummy good and freaky fast. Go to jimmyjohns.com. All right, Jay Cutler stepped up when he had to with the game on the line. Jay Bird took him down the field. Here's, to me, the biggest throw of the game, Adam Johns. Right there. That throw, I was talking to Jason McKee earlier. That throw could only be in one place. He put it right where it had to be.
That's good coverage. That is really good coverage. And what is it? It was 4th and 5, 7-yard throw. He had missed a couple earlier. I know he had the bad interception. Just the way he played, though, in that final drive, I think, one, the Raiders playing off-man coverage and giving the Bears the sideline, that was a major error. But just the way he handled himself coming off that hamstring injury and leading the Bears in the situation was very impressive.
Yeah, you mentioned the hamstring injury. It was encouraging to see him play through that, play well when the team needed most, to actually rebound off a bad interception that's haunted him his whole entire career here in Chicago. Lead that ball
Charles Woods,
right, and lead that ball club back down the field, put Robbie Gould, for him to win the game. I think that speaks huge about Jay Cutler, and hopefully this can catapult us in some more wins.
How about Charles Woodson picking him off after his comments as a Packer? Just wait, Jay will throw it to you.
Same old Jay, right? And you thought that, like he threw off his back foot. Yeah, there's a little pressure.
He threw off his back foot all day long yesterday.
Well, he had some decent pressure. He actually moved. His in-pocket awareness and mobility
Was excellent.
for a strained hamstring. Yeah, rather impressive. But yeah, that was a bad throw. He had him right away. I think he had a couple open other receivers on the far side there.
Woodson had to look and go, uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah. But look, he's open. If he just leads him a little bit farther, I don't know if he thought Mac or he felt Mac a little earlier than he should have, but it worked out.
I think two things happened yesterday for me that stood out. It kind of killed the narrative that Jay Cutler's not tough, if that still exists. I hope it doesn't exist because Jay Cutler's pretty tough. I mean, what he did on the field out there yesterday was pretty impressive. And also, as much as I think we're all starting to realize Jay Cutler's not the future of the Bears, he's not going to lead them to a Super Bowl, he's a significant upgrade over guys like Jimmy Clausen and backups and any guy that so many people want to fight for. Just bring anyone in there. It's better than Jay Cutler. That's not reality. Jay Cutler's not perfect. We know all his warts. We've seen it over the years. All his defenders, who I was one, I'm not on his side. I'm not saying this is the guy, extend him even further. This is the future of the Bears. But I also understand that he's talented, very, very talented, and that he's right now their best option.
Yeah, I think the issue with Jay Cutler has never been a question his talent, his arm strength, athleticism as a quarterback. It's just him resorting back to bad habits and not coming through in key situations, costly turnovers time and time, over and over again. And his leadership, I think those have been the major factors with him in Chicago. And I think that's why, obviously what he's done on the field, but off the field, fans don't view him they don't view him as a franchise guy because he's not a leader. He's not the type of leader. He doesn't have the qualities that you want in a franchise quarterback.
I really like the game plan that Adam Gase had for him. I know there was some pressure on him early, and we talk about his presence in the pocket, but just the quick throws, quick underneath the routes, so all the tight end screens to Martellus Bennett, the bubble screens to Eddie Royal, just to get the ball out of his hands quickly and into his playmakers, just like the touchdown to Eddie Royal. And he did what he had to do. He ran an offense against. We should say this. To give Jimmy Clausen some credit. The Seattle Seahawks aren't exactly the Oakland Raiders, and the Oakland Raiders came in with the dead last defense, and Cutler did what he had to do.
Yeah, you mentioned, too, the quick throws. I mean, they're high percentage throws, get the ball out of your hand, but also it keeps you in third and short, manageable, downs as opposed to being in third and long situations where he's more likely to throw an interception like we've seen in the past.
You mentioned the coaching. I think, have we learned that coaching is, I'm sure Jason knew this. I feel like coaching is so huge in football, and we're seeing that leadership and game planning. Both of those combined are really important in the NFL, most sports, but especially the NFL. And we're just seeing it pay off. They're competitive when they hadn't been, when we didn't expect them to be almost.
All right, do you look at the Bears and go, better than I thought they were, or it was a home win, they squeaked by the Raiders, I still don't think they're very good?
I think they're not the worst team in the NFL by far. You know, I think they're maybe middle of the pack. Obviously, they had a tough schedule, you know, early on. But let's see how they rebound after this. You know, we've seen Jay Cutler come through time and time again, and the inconsistency.
What do you think the point spread is on the Bear game Sunday?
Oh, I don't know.
Take a guess. It just came out.
Take a guess. 3.5.
I don't know. Kansas City would be favored. Probably 3.5. I'd say.
That's what I would guess 3.
Kansas City 10.
10?
Wow.
10.
A lot of points.
It's a 1-3 team.
1-3.
It's been
10.
10?
They're telling you that they're going to kick the you-know-what out of them. I would think take the 10.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
The thing Kansas City has for them, though, they do have a talented defensive line that will get after the quarterback. Obviously, the Bears' offensive line situation is pretty rough, you know, banged up. So I can see, you know, them being able to put a lot of pressure on Jay, making him throw the ball before he wants to, and turnovers would be a key factor.
Okay, Will Montgomery done for the year with the broken leg, surgery, he's out. Do they bring in another center? They have Hronis Grasu. Slauson slid over and played there for the first time in his career. There's some interesting names that I was reading today that are available. One that really stuck out to me besides Roberto Garza, Dominic Raiola. Olin.
I thought you were going to say Olin Kreutz. I was going to say Olin Kreutz available.
He's too little.
You know
Can he
what?
put weight on real quick?
He could do it.
Dominic Raiola is like Olin's brother.
Yeah.
He's a tough, hard-nosed, fiery football player.
Okay, one of the dirtiest football players in the league, man.
But he's got the experience, and he can bring that physicality and that mentality
question
that you
about it.
need for this team, especially when
It's
you
like
want to
bring an Olin in.
Right.
Yeah.
I would
I'll
love
say
it.
this: whoever they bring in is yes, they could have experience, but they're starting over, learning a new playbook, right? Learning to get to know Jay Cutler. I mean, that's what Fox was trying to hit on today. You still got Grasu, who's been there, you know, since he was drafted. He's kind of I think his problem is they wanted him to gain 25 pounds, and he's actually, if you compare him to Will Montgomery, he's actually quite thin. He looks like one of these retired offensive linemen.
He's 310 though.
Yeah.
It's a big dude.
It's, you know, soaking wet and, you know, carrying some weights or something, right? Yeah, he looks slight compared to the rest of the offensive line.
What's the latest on Antrell Roll?
Well, he told us in the locker room yesterday that the X-rays were negative. He seemed very upbeat about it, too, you know.
The quote that he gave after the game was he looked down and fully expected to see his foot pointed in the wrong direction.
Right.
That's how painful the injury was.
Yeah. So he was really worried. So, you know, he said he thanked God like 3 times, you know, for not being a serious injury. They're going to miss him. I mean, they had 2 rookies.
How long is he out?
Back there at safety. I say a few weeks. I mean, I don't know if it's a high ankle sprain yet, but, I mean, this is a guy who doesn't miss much time. I think he last missed a game in 2009. That was with the thigh injury with the Giants. So he's a rather durable player. He thinks he heals quickly. We'll see what happens.
All right, it's going to be interesting to see what happens off of a win, going next 2 on the road, Kansas City and Detroit. We'll see what happens. In honor of soon-to-be part-time broadcaster Hawk Harrelson, his White Sox season is over. The team with so much hope finishes 10 games under 500, and the bench coach takes the fall. Could they possibly turn this around for next year, or will there be more lean years ahead on the South Side with better video screens to watch it? That plus a national disaster costs a manager his gig.
3 games as the Sox have collected.
Sports Talk Live is presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers who know what it takes to be number 1. It's all about drive.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
This is amazing.
That's amazing.
Real people are discovering surprising things at Chevy.
We're sold. It's so pretty. Beautiful.
It feels great.
Perfect. This is not what I would expect from a Chevy at all.
Get more than you expect for less than you imagined.
The 2015 models are going fast. Find your tag and get cash back for 15% of the MSRP on select 2015 vehicles in stock. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on most remaining 2015 Chevy vehicles.
One day I woke up and bam, boobs.
She shows them off. Double trouble.
I caught it early.
I love being a woman. Having a positive attitude actually helped a lot. She's my hero.
It's a sisterhood, and you will get through it.
Advocate Healthcare understands the worry that comes with waiting. That's why we offer mammograms and the results today. Why wait?
Country Financial wants to know, what if you could own your future?
I mean, I would spend it with family and friends. Travel more.
Retire.
Can make decisions that aren't fear-based about money.
At Country Financial, we take the time to get to know you so we can develop a plan with insurance and financial solutions to help you take charge of where you want to be.
Have that fear removed from my mind.
To help you own your future.
To be in control of your future.
Visit ownyourfuture.com to find a local Country Financial representative today.
Still haven't tried FanDuel's one-week fantasy football leagues? Over 1 million fans have already won money. Choose a league. They start at $1. Pick your team. Done. Winners get paid the next day, and there's no season-long commitment. FanDuel pays out $75 million a week. Get off the sidelines and get some. Try FanDuel today. We'll match your first deposit up to $200. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Go to FanDuel.com and enter promo code YARDAGE2. That's YARDAGE2.
Tomorrow, basketball is back as your Bulls storm the floor in their preseason opener against Milwaukee. It's Jimmy Butler against MCW in a battle of talented backcourts. Bulls versus Bucks. Tomorrow at 7 on CSN.
This Wednesday, get ready for the Wild Card Playoff game with Cap and Holly on Cubs pregame live at 6. Then, after the final out, flip back to CSN for Cubs postgame live. It all starts this Wednesday at 6 on CSN Chicago.
Popped him up, shallow right, Castro's not going to take a step up. Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win! He wasn't going to tag. Polanco tripped. What a finish.
Wow, that is unfreaking believable.
That is unfreaking believable, JD. That is one of the more bizarre endings you will ever see.
Oh, dance move.
Smokes. This season, it's unbelievable. You can relive it tonight. It's Cubs Classics. We get in the Wayback Machine of May 15th of this year, when the turf helped give the Cubs a victory over the Pirates. Tonight at 7 o'clock on Comcast SportsNet. Matt Williams was your manager of the year in 2014. Today, Matt Williams, here you go. Out. He and his entire coaching staff fired by the Washington Nationals. That was a train wreck, J-Mac.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, professional sports is what have you done for me lately? You may have been a manager there last year, high expectations this year. You don't live up to them or nowhere near it, goodbye.
Here, what have you done for me lately? How about this?
Yeah. Not even
Let me
aware.
come in here and choke you.
I love how he claimed he hasn't seen that. Or right when it happened, that was his argument. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, he hadn't seen it. You're the manager, and you don't know that
you're sitting somewhere in the vicinity
choking your best player.
Your best player getting pounded on or choked
Bryce Harper, right there. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a couple things going on here. First of all, the Manager of the Year award may be a little bit overrated because it's just given to a team that's really, really good that wins 104 games, or it's going to the most surprising
say that
team.
if Joe Madden wins it?
No, because I think he deserves it, but I've also been in that clubhouse for 80 games, so I'm probably biased in that scenario. But I don't think like a guy like Terry Collins deserves it just because his team's surprised, you know, or Mike Matheny deserves it because they did it with all the injuries. I think Joe Madden was a manager and really did a great job managing this team. I think Matt Williams should have been fired after last year. He killed that team in the playoffs. I don't think he did a great job during the regular season. He mismanaged in the playoffs. And Mike Rizzo didn't pull the trigger for multiple reasons, and he had to this year. This was an utter disaster, and whether there were problems with the talent, whatever it was, he didn't control that clubhouse, and he didn't get that thing going the right way, and I think he deserved to be let go. But I don't know who the right guy for that situation is. I'd love to see Bud Black there, just because I think he's one of the most respected guys in any clubhouse, and I think that's what they need.
All right, let's move on to the White Sox. That season is now over. The Sox 10 games under 500. They'll pick 10th in the draft, so they have a protected pick so they can go out into free agency. But just a train wreck of a season, Adam, from the expectations as we look back, and we all thought they were warranted. They never got any traction.
Tell me, you know, I've been up at Hallis Hall a lot lately. Why is Robin Ventura still in charge of the White Sox? I know the bench coach, you know,
Mark Parent out.
He's the scapegoat here, but I mean, for so long we were talking about his decisions and, you know, just the great expectation, what's going wrong with the White Sox. And look, I get that Ventura is a nice guy. I mean, you say it all the time.
He's a wonderful
I just
guy.
don't. Why? What's going on there on the south side?
Well, it's amazing. So he gets fired with the second or third worst record since opening day 2013. And we were screaming for Lovey to get fired. He was a 10-6 football coach.
Yeah. It's baffling. I don't get it. They haven't made the playoffs a lot on the south side.
They won one game in the playoffs in 08.
And then he got the World Series before that. That's a long time.
I think it's loyalty. I think there's a lot of loyalty that happens with Jerry Reinsdorf and
which is a great quality to have. Admirable.
If you're winning.
But it can be a problem at times, and I think in normal circumstances, Ventura would have been let go. I think Rick Hahn always points to the fact that I mentioned with Matt Williams, Robin Ventura does have control of that clubhouse, and he likes that. He thinks that there's more than just in-game stuff, and he's right. Rick Hahn's 100% right. There's more than just the in-game stuff. There's many things that go into being a manager.
Okay, so who do you point the finger at?
I mean, you can point the. I mean, ideally, you always point it at the players.
I mean, the White Sox will bristle and go, because I talked to a buddy. He said, "Really, you guys are going to say we took it out on the bench, coach? I understand that, but that's the only guy that's being held accountable, and everybody else is staying."
Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that someone has to pay the price, and it's just. I mean, it feels like eyewash. Like I said, it does. There's no. This is just like a firing to have a firing. Someone needs to pay the price, so let's do something.
It's like when the Blackhawks fired Mike Havlin. I mean, Mike Havlin was beloved by the players, but they had to do something after not missing the playoffs 2 years in a row, and that's. I guess somebody has to go to make somebody feel.
Oh, you mean when they got eliminated in the first round?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, they didn't go past the first round.
Vancouver and then Arizona.
Yes. So Mike Havlin had to go. So I get it that somebody has to be blamed, but I always thought Havlin was the wrong guy in that situation.
Do you think this team could turn it quickly?
I think they can, just because they have the recipe there. I mean, when you have a guy like Sale, when you have a guy like Abreu, I don't know what Trace Thompson is.
You've got a closer.
Yeah.
Elite.
You got Quintana.
Quintana and Sale, top of the rotation stuff. You got Abreu. You got Carlos Rodon. You got Carson Fulmer coming.
Yeah. They have a lot of talent.
Holes.
So
who's your shortstop?
There's a lot of things you can do. Good question. I mean, who's majority of the field? Like, we don't know anybody outside of Abreu. Who's their catcher? Is it still Tyler Flowers?
Catcher, second, short, third, and right.
You can feel much better about Adam Eaton. You can feel much better about him after the second half he had. But outside of the guys that we've mentioned, there's a lot of holes. So maybe you use a guy like Quintana, because that's a huge trading piece. That's a huge piece who's signed to a really nice. I mean, when you have Sale and Rodon at the top of the rotation, you can still replace guys. You can use a guy like Quintana to fill multiple holes and then maybe pay for a third or fourth starter like Mike Leake, just throwing out a name like Mike Leake, not saying that's who they go after. But those are things you can do. I don't know if they're going to spend a lot of money. Do you go out and spend a lot of money and get Jason Hayward so you improve so many aspects of your team? You have an on-base guy. You have a defensive whiz, which they struggle on defense so much. I mean, there's so many aspects that they need to focus on. Defense is definitely one of those aspects.
All right, also, Hawk Harrelson made news today. Longtime voice of the Chicago White Sox will only call road games next year, plus 2 Cubs games at U.S. Cellular and opening day. So he'll do, 80-some ball games. That's it. So the pairing of Hawk and Stoney is going to look radically different.
Right. We all know he's a legend, but I'm trying to think back, with all these games going national, and how many times you hear national broadcasters using Hawkisms. He gone. I mean, it's become so popular amongst everybody, and he's going to be known for these things. Yes, he's a little bit quirky, but I mean, the legend's going to go out on his own terms.
Yeah, I liked him too. I mean, he's one of the only reasons why I would tune into a Sox game this year, because I liked, hearing his Hawkisms, as you put it, at him, after a batter struck out and different things he would say to keep you interested. To keep you interested in the game, because obviously the play, the White Sox play, wasn't keeping you tuned into the channel. So
it'll be interesting to see who they bring in to work alongside Stoney, who I think is the best analyst in baseball.
Yeah, he's great. Stone's great at his job. I think Hawk is great, and he's also a character. I also think he can be a little over the top, which for me, it's just entertaining. The extreme silence after something bad happens.
The will to win.
And it's entertainment for me, and I think some people give him a hard time, and whether it's deserved or not, I think he has fun with what he does.
He's going to go down, whether you like him or you don't like him. his style was his style, and he didn't care what anybody else said.
My favorite thing about Hawk, being a Northside Cubs fan, is when you turn on the Sox game and he's just dead quiet. He's supposed to be the play-by-play guy.
Right.
You know they're doing bad if Hawk's not saying a word.
Yeah, there was a walk-off home run, and it was 42 seconds, according to Deadspin, of dead silence.
It was always a classic. I love that
That
stuff.
ball hit deep.
And he'll just go to starts thanking his producers, doesn't even call the game.
Mark Burley went to the bump yesterday in what might be the final start of his great career. It was not pretty. He's not going to be on the Blue Jays postseason roster. Look, he's had a wonderful, wonderful career, but he's running out of gas.
Oh, I was so hoping he'd get those 200 innings. It's just a cool number. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody gets, it would have been 15 years in a row, right? And Maddox was a guy, I think, who had 18. I may be wrong in that number, but that's the last guy that really did it all the time. And Burley was just a horse. He's not a Hall of Famer. Maybe he's, one of those Hall of very, very, very good. But what a great guy to be around. What a great teammate. And it's too bad. And unfortunately, the defense kind of is what cost him. The 2 errors in that inning. He would have gotten out of that inning just, I think, 1, 2, 3, or, 1 single if it hadn't have been for a bunch of errors. It's too bad.
Yeah, he's probably hanging him up. For the 3rd straight year, the Pirates have to play in the wild card game. Wednesday, can Pittsburgh do something nobody has done since August? And that's hit Jake Arrieta. We'll ask Rob Biertempfel from the Pittsburgh Tribune Review next. And Wednesday's shaping up to be a huge day in Chicago sports. Cubs play. Blackhawks raise another banner at the United Center to celebrate their 3rd cup in 6 years. Oh, and Derrick Rose could be back in practice watching his team. Watching, the operative word.
Ice cream. Kitten.
BMO Harris Mobile Cash. Just point and scan. Leave your card at home.
Money.
I think someone's been practicing.
BMO Harris Bank. We're here to help.
Quiet on the set. Take 73. What? It's a... Saving big is no laughing matter. At the Bob Roman Auto Group, over 7,000 new and used cars online at BobRorman.com.
There's only one Bob Roman.
Ever wish you could go back in time? Now you can with Restart from DirecTV. When you connect your DirecTV DVR to the internet, never worry about tuning in late again. When you see this icon, you can instantly go back to the beginning of a show, even if you didn't record it. With DirecTV, what's gone is not really gone. Don't just watch TV. DirecTV.
Attention Xarelto users. Have you or a loved one taken the blood thinner Xarelto and then suffered internal bleeding resulting in hospitalization or death? Xarelto has no specific antidote for uncontrolled bleeding approved by the FDA. This may make an uncontrolled bleed or hemorrhage a serious medical problem. If you or a loved one has taken Xarelto and suffered an injury involving hospitalization or death, call right now.
Call 1-800-363-9018. That's 1-800-363-9018.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or unsecured loans, this is what it looks like. But there is a solution. Only National Debt Relief has the Debt Reset program that negotiates with your creditors to reduce your debt down to a fraction of what you owe, and will customize a low monthly payment plan, helping you become debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months. And you don't pay a dime until we succeed.
Call now for your free $100 gift card. Call 800-256-9112.
Whoever knows me knows I like a lot of different genres of music. T-Swift Bad Blood, I think it's a good one.
Jake Arrieta, a 20-game winner.
You guys don't.
Put up a 0. Now I gotta find this little groove that's up there.
People just making fun of my grammar.
and Twitter, which is fine.
We highlight the 2015 Cubs season with unique original features from the key members of the team. Kelly Kroll hosts We Are Good, the Comcast SportsNet special presentation tonight at 10:30 on CSN. Cubs and the Pirates are just 2 days away from the National League Wild Card game at PNC Park in the Steel City. For the latest on the Buccos, we go to Pittsburgh. We bring in Rob Biertempfel, the Pirates beat writer from the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. Rob, two teams, 98 wins and 97. No one would ever have thought that they would not win the division with those types of victories. What's your takeaway from the season before we talk about the one game?
Yeah, I tell you, really, just an incredible season for the National League Central, the Chicago Cubs. A lot of people had them starting this kind of, productivity and success maybe next year once they've got all their pieces in place and kind of settled in, but I think they're a little bit ahead of schedule, and they look like they're hitting on all cylinders. The Pirates, this is kind of where they wanted to be. They wanted to be in the playoffs, but they really had their eyes, their hopes set on the division title. But the St. Louis Cardinals just wouldn't go away. They no matter how many people were injured, how many people went down, they were like a zombie team. They just kept methodically going forward. But now you really have, the three best teams in baseball all bunched in that one division, and it's going to be a fantastic playoff week.
Let's talk about the one game. Do you like this scenario? What are the Pirates players saying about potentially playing 98 or winning 98 games and going home?
Yeah, I was talking with Andrew McCutchen, the center fielder, the other day. He brought up what everybody's been saying, that, yes, 98 wins in any other division in baseball would be up 10 or 11 games, he said. But here we can't, change the way things have gone. We just got to deal with it and move on. And I think that's the approach that everybody in that clubhouse has kind of taken, that there's no use really griping about it or wondering about how it could be different in the future. They just have to deal with the card that's dealt with them, at the moment and make the best of it and go from there. And they look what the Giants did last year, coming from a wild card, from the number 2 wild card and winning the World Series. So it's not like it can't be done. It's just it's a steeper hill to climb. And I'm sure in the future MLB will take a look at this and maybe try to think of a way to tweak the system a little bit. But it really is difficult when you get into matters of scheduling and even things like reseeding and travel considerations this time of year. It's difficult to do. I don't think you're ever going to have a really perfect system. For now, though, this is a system that, the system we have, and everybody just has to make the best of it.
What is your take on Wednesday night's game? Jake Arrieta has had a historic second half of his season.
Yeah.
Might win the Cy Young. He's certainly in the discussion in the top 2 with Zach Greinke. What is your take on Arrieta, the Cubs, coming into Pittsburgh?
It's the pitching matchup probably that everybody has been waiting to see. Maybe potentially the best pitching matchup of the postseason this year. And here it is, boom, just the first game out of the chute in the National League. When you look at Arrieta, he's had such great success this year, obviously against everybody, but especially against the Pirates. That Sunday night game just a few days ago out at Wrigley Field. Just an incredible atmosphere there, and everybody had been looking toward that game for a while to see really what Arrieta would do in that last tune-up against the Pirates, and to go out and to flirt with a perfect game and pitch as well as he did in that game. I think it really shows, it's a little bit of a preview what we're going to be in for, on Wednesday night. The Pirates are coming back on Wednesday with Garrett Cole. He's their ace. He's their number 1 guy. He has all the pedigree, former number 1 draft pick, the big power arm. He started playoff games in the past. He started big games. He's been a great pitcher in September for this club, even though he's just, 25 years old. So you really, you got 2 incredible arms, the making of a really great pitching matchup. And you wonder what it's going to turn on. Is it going to be maybe one pitch that's just hung out over the plate and somebody gets a hold of it? Is it going to be a ball that bounces off a base or thuds off of somebody's glove? That's the beauty of this. It's already tense enough with one and done, but when you have these 2 great pitchers meeting in that kind of scenario, it really can be a fantastic night.
Rob, do you think the Pirates will change their approach? Joe Madden had his guys out fielding bunts the other day in lieu of batting practice. Do you think Pittsburgh does something different?
That's a possibility. I know that in this series against the Reds that the Pirates ended the regular season with, we saw a couple of times where guys were dropping down bunts or getting ready, squaring like they're dropping down bunts in circumstances where maybe ordinarily they would have not done that. I think maybe that might be what they go to do. against Arrieta in this game. To try to maybe put a more athletic lineup out there, that maybe that means that Aramis Ramirez does not get the start at third base, and they go with Josh Harrison, younger, fresher legs. And maybe they do try to put the ball on the ground, make Arrieta get off the mound, run around, tire himself out a little bit. Maybe it's a pressure situation, so you get a bad throw. I think a situation like that is something the Pirates have to do. Get runners on base early, create stressful situations for Arrieta, hit and run, try to steal bases, all those things to try to maybe force the issue a little bit, press the envelope, and get some runs across the board early in the game.
All right, last two for you. We hear a lot about how hard it is to play left field at PNC. Thus, Kyle Schwarber played 2 games over the weekend in Milwaukee in right field where he hadn't played all season. How difficult is left field versus right out there?
It's a little bit like a national park out there sometimes. It is a very, very big area. They've got that little notch. They call it the north side notch, which, you guys are north siders. You'll appreciate that. That little notch out there in left center field where balls, that's where a lot of triples are created if the ball gets hit out there. It's a low fence, too, so you can, go in there and shake hands with the fans if you're so inclined. Try to lean back and pull back home runs. It really demands an athletic left fielder. It really demands a guy who's probably a natural center fielder, which is why the Pirates have had so much success with starting Marte in left field. He came up through the minors as a center fielder, and putting him in left, that's really the kind of skill set you need. You need speed, you need glove work, you need a strong arm, and you got to be a little bit fearless, too, to play left field out in Pittsburgh.
All right, last one. How is Garrett Cole throwing as of late? Because Pirates struggled a bit with Cincinnati over the weekend. Cubs win their last 8 in a row. How would you say the team is playing and Cole is throwing?
Yeah, certainly the momentum would be toward the Cubs a little bit in that regard, because you reel off 8 wins. Those were games that they knew they had to win, and they went out and they did it in convincing style in some cases. The Pirates, not so much. I believe they went 3-4 down the stretch. Included in there was a doubleheader against the Cardinals that they split. They watched the Cardinals celebrate the division title, at PNC Park with the champagne and everything like that. So that had to be disheartening a little bit, and I think some of that carried over into the series against the Reds. And then finally on Sunday, when they realized it was do or die to get that 3rd straight wild card game at Pittsburgh, I think they really were able to buckle down a little bit and get the job done. And at that point now, going into Wednesday, the home field, I don't know if you guys have seen that kind of situation yet, but it really does, it gets kind of crazy at PNC Park for these wild card scenarios. Andrew McCutchen calling for the blackout. He wants everybody to wear black, and just ask Johnny Cueto when he dropped the ball on the mound, how tricky it can be to face these fans in Pittsburgh. I think in that regard, the momentum of winning 8 in a row, the momentum of just being at home, something's got to give.
Appreciate your time, Rob. Thanks a lot. We'll look forward to seeing you in the Steel City.
Okay, no problem. Take care.
All right, still time to vote on today's Jimmy John's Freaky Fast poll question. What is your biggest question heading into the wild card game on Wednesday? Right now, 85% say, can the Cubs hit Garrett Cole? Go to CSNChicago.com. Final results ahead on the show. Notre Dame's playoff hopes are taking on water. On a wet night in Clemson, the Irish didn't have any luck holding on to the ball, and they suffer their first loss of the season. Can they rebound and still make the Final Four? Meanwhile, go Cats. Northwestern 5-0 with a showdown against Michigan on the horizon at the Big House. Should fans get excited? Go Cats. That plus one NFL head coach has some more time to spend in London. We're back after this.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
This is amazing.
That's amazing.
Real people are discovering surprising things at Chevy.
We're sold. It's so pretty. Beautiful.
It feels great.
Perfect. This is not what I would expect from a Chevy at all.
Get more than you expect for less than you imagined.
The 2015 models are going fast. Find your tag and get cash back for 15% of the MSRP on select 2015 vehicles in stock. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on most remaining 2015 Chevy vehicles.
Beat the rush for winter tires to get big savings at Discount Tire. Buy now and get a $50 Visa prepaid card on any set of winter tires purchased with your Discount Tire credit card. Thank you, Discount Tire.
Buffalo Wild Wings Team Up for Kids program is proud to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Join us at buffalowildwings.com/giving.
Do you feel trapped by your credit cards? $25,000 in balance now means your minimum payment could be $1,000 a month. Be late, and there go the late charges. I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. Consider eliminating with Chapter 7 or no interest repayment under Chapter 13. Call us for a free phone mini consultation or log on to infotapes.com.
If you're worried about debt, call now to see if you qualify. 1-800-401-4010.
Need new tires? Right now at Pep Boys, when you get 3 Falcon, Cooper, or Hankook tires, you get the 4th tire free instantly. Plus, get no interest and paid in full within 6 months on your Pep Boys credit card. Trust the boys to get you there.
As your Cubs chase history, get to know the players, people, and places that make this franchise one of baseball's best. Watch We Are Good, a celebration of the 2015 Chicago Cubs, presented by Feldco. Tonight at 10:30 on CSN Chicago. Tomorrow night, turn on CSN for our Cubs playoff preview show. Cap and Holly will break down Wednesday's critical wildcard matchup and look ahead to a potential Division Series clash with the Cards. The Cubs playoff preview show presented by Feldco. Tomorrow at 10:30 on CSN Chicago.
Buffalo Wild Wings brings you tonight's lineup on CSN SportsNet Central next with Pat Boyle and Mark Shanowski. That is followed by Cubs Classic, the crazy walk-off win against the Pirates in May of this season. At 10, SportsNet Central. At 10:30, a CSN special presentation, We Are Good, celebrating the 2015 Cubs. All tonight on CSN. Blackhawks at Soldier Field yesterday. There's Andrew Shaw. Number of the players brought the Stanley Cup out. And very cool to see everybody just there gravitating to him. Everyone excited. They're all in their custom Bears jerseys. And then later that night, they all got their rings. Those things are sick.
Oh, man, they're enormous. Can't really
look at that
wear them, but yeah, beautiful.
My God.
Great ring.
It's a lot
I mean, like the first two were cool. That one has so many diamonds on it. It's just insane.
They just went all out, huh? Third one.
Jealous. Wish I had a championship ring. I got the second place ring, which is big in itself, but not as many diamonds as that.
I mean, that is. So what does your ring say? NFC champ?
NFC champs. A couple diamonds on. I mean, it's nice. It's good to have. It was an honor to play in the Super Bowl, but I want more diamonds.
Do you wear it around?
I never worn it. Never worn it because it reminds me of second place. What could have been. Yeah. But it was an honor playing, so I kind of just keep it in my safe and look at it and cry every so often.
Wow. Realistic expectations for the Blackhawks?
For this year? Well, I think they're lower because they've had attrition, but I expect them to make, Western Conference Finals. I guess that's, I expect them to reach that point.
Yeah, I expect them to make the playoffs and make a run. I couldn't say if, you have to really see if the youth develops quickly. These guys that they've acquired, if they can develop quickly, I guess anything can happen. But I'm not expecting Stanley Cup championship.
Yeah, my expectations remain high because you have your core guys, Kane, Taves, you bring back Seabrook, Jomerson's still there. So, I'm looking forward to another exciting season. I'm not going to say they're going to win it again. I hope they do, but I'm looking forward to them, stacking up.
I think you really need a big season from Tara Vinen because he played very well last year at times, but he looked small at times.
Right.
Sharp struggled at times last year, but you're still going to miss his presence. He still played through a lot of different things last year. Brandon Saad, Columbus is getting a very good hockey player.
Young.
Very
guy.
good two-way hockey player, and I think they're going to miss those guys. So there's going to be some type of feeling out process, especially with the Russians, all these new.
So we shouldn't expect them to get off to a 24 in a row unbeaten streak.
Not like a few years ago. They're still going to be. They're still one of the best teams in the NHL.
All right, let's move on. Derrick Rose will be allowed to leave his home and head over to the Bulls Advocate Center and watch his teammates practice as he recovers from his facial surgery after getting an elbow in the face.
Is that right?
Yeah, he wasn't allowed because of sensitivity to light after the surgery, so he'll be able to watch. They've been bringing tapes over for him to watch of the new system at his home. But good to see that he's going to get over this. It sounds worse than it really was. It's a couple-week thing, and then he'll get back at it.
Yeah, at least he'll be there. It's not a long-term injury. Something that happens, a freak injury that happened in practice. Things like that happen all the time. You're practicing hard, things can happen. So luckily, Derrick Rose will be available, for a long time for the Bulls, hopefully.
With all the abuse he's taken, the free agency talk, this, the that, the injuries, If you were him or you were advising him, would you tell him, you know what, no more talking to the media with the exception of after a game, you want to ask me basketball questions about that game, you got me. The rest of it, I'm done.
Yeah, knowing who his advisors are, I would assume they'd love to tell him don't talk to the media anymore, just stick to basketball talk. And maybe that is the best thing for him because he does have a lot of missteps and, you know, the media pounces on it, fans pounce on it. I think it's, you know, let's see what happens this year. I think it's going to be really exciting because Fred Hoiberg is one of those guys like Steve Kerr that's really thinks outside the box and has that up-tempo offense, and maybe it really works and we're going to watch something fun.
Let's move on to college football. It was an interesting weekend again. Notre Dame in a driving rain down at Clemson goes for 2 to try and tie it late. Can't get it done. I thought the play call, Jason, was
terrible. I mean, you want to put the ball in the hands of your best athlete, and you mean to tell me your quarterback, Kaiser, is your best athlete on the field at that time, in that situation? I didn't like the call at all. You got your lead running back lead blocking for you in that situation. Makes no sense.
That play had zero chance. Zero.
Yeah, at least give him an option, like a pass run option.
Right.
There, you know, like have him roll out and have different things present for him. But go ahead.
Right. I mean to cut you off, but they should have never been in that situation. I mean, how many turnovers they had? I mean, you had a couple of key turnovers when the guy's about to cross the goal line, he fumbles. I mean, things like that cause you to lose ball games.
It's the kicker right there forcing that fumble.
Exactly. I mean, I know it's raining, but at the same time, you know, you got to be held accountable. These fumbles should have never happened in a big game like this.
Look at that hit. The kicker getting in there and sticking his nose in, making a play.
Those are bad fumbles. Yeah.
That's a bad fumble. All right, so let's move from Clemson, Notre Dame to a highly ranked team. That would be the Northwestern Wildcats with the cool Gothic gold and purple uniforms. They annihilated a very well-coached and pretty darn good Minnesota team who battled TCU in the first week of the season and had a chance to beat them. 27-0, they destroyed Minnesota.
You know, I think we were talking about the Bears being big underdogs. I think, what's the line in this game? I think Northwestern's actually double digits underdogs against Michigan at the Big House.
Are they double-digit underdogs?
I want to say it's 10 or 14. That's what we were talking about in the press box.
The 13th ranked team in the country is getting double digits.
Yes. Crazy. I know they're not lighting up the scoreboard with a lot of points. Clayton Thorson's still learning on the job, but I mean, their defense has been spectacular. I mean, they're very, very impressive.
Next 2 weeks, they are at Michigan, and then come home to play Iowa.
And Iowa just beat
Wisconsin.
At Wisconsin.
Yeah, so it's I'm excited for this game. You got a old school coach in Harbaugh who brings that old school mentality. Up in Michigan, they run the ball. They got a fullback lead blocking, so you know I'm a fan of that. Yeah. And like you mentioned, Northwestern has a great defense. So I think it's going to be a good old traditional, good Big Ten battle, and we'll see what happens.
All right, up next, poll results, and a big Saints fan makes a big mistake.
We asked people to tell us something that happened in their past and something that might happen in their future. The good things were put on yellow magnets and the bad ones on blue. The results show the past was a pretty even mix of good and bad, yet the future was almost all good things. Now that you've seen the results of this experiment, what does it mean to you?
We all want to think about positive stuff.
Realistically, there will be down times.
It's great to think optimistically, but let's plan for whatever the future might bring.
Prudential, bring your challenges.
It's your choice month at Alp Money Ford. This month, we're out to sell more Ford Fusions and Escapes than ever. So listen to this. Right now, you can drive a 2015 Ford Fusion or Escape for only $169 a month. That's right, $169 a month. And we've got hundreds to choose from. And that's not all. This month, you could save up to $82.50 on a new Ford. It's your choice, but this month only at Alp Money Ford in Melrose Park, 25th and North Avenue.
Nitro Circus Live, the world's greatest live-action sports event, is coming to Chicago for the first time on October 21st at the United Center. Enter now for a chance to win tickets to see Nitro Circus Live, courtesy of Sport Clips Haircuts. 20 winners will be selected to receive a pair of tickets, plus one grand prize winner will receive VIP tickets, passes to go backstage, and access to an exclusive meet and greet with the stars of the show. Go to winwithsportclips.com now to register for a chance to win.
Attention Xarelto users. Have you or a loved one taken the blood thinner Xarelto and then suffered internal bleeding resulting in hospitalization or death? Xarelto has no specific antidote for uncontrolled bleeding approved by the FDA. This may make an uncontrolled bleed or hemorrhage a serious medical problem. If you or a loved one has taken Xarelto and suffered an injury involving hospitalization or death, call right now.
Call 1-800-343-7095. That's 1-800-343-7095.
This message is for all Americans that owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS.
Call the number on your screen now and we will contact the IRS on your behalf, help you end wage garnishments, stop collection calls, remove tax liens, get rid of IRS and state tax penalties, and reduce the amount you owe if you qualify.
Let us take the stress of back taxes and the IRS off your shoulders so you can spend time on the important things in your life, like your family or your business. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, call now and find out how we can help you.
Jimmy John's freaky fastball results time. Your biggest concern heading into the wild card game Wednesday night. 83% say, can the Cubs hit Garrett Cole, the Pittsburgh A's? Thanks for voting. Order Jimmy John's sandwich delivery today. It's yummy good, folks, and freaky fast. Go to jimmyjohns.com. Saints had a chance to win the Sunday night game at the end of regulation, but the field goal hit the upright. C.J. Spiller won it in overtime on a long TD pass. But if New Orleans lost, they could blame this guy who lifted up and jinxed the kick. The guy by the tunnel. Did you see that guy by the tunnel? Check out the gut. Big, big save. I mean, you talk big. Look at him.
Oh, man.
Look at the size of that guy. If you're the kicker, you're like completely freaked out by what you're seeing.
He blocked the kick.
That's his target.
He was carrying a bag or something, like a garbage bag.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's crazy. Too much gumbo.
That's good taunting.
Brutal. That is absolutely brutal. Also, Joe Philbin had a little business trip to London. The return trip didn't go so well. Philbin fired by the Dolphins. This is the second time in 2 years, I think, that a coach coached in the London game.
I mean, that's
Dennis Allen fired on the plane last year in Oakland.
The Raiders. Yeah, this is a team that many thought would go to the Super Bowl. I mean, this kind of shows you how crazy.
Why are they struggling so much offensively? I watched them Sunday morning. They were brutal.
Oh yeah, even defensively. I mean, Sue, for all the money he got, he's not making impact whatsoever.
I think with Sue, and we talked about this before the show, I think with him it's a different scheme that he's used to up in Detroit. You know, up in Detroit they kind of let him loose and he can just go after the quarterback, whereas, you know, in Miami, you know, he doesn't have a Nick Fairley next to him, which he can just let loose and go after the quarterback. Now he's got to play to run more. Totally different scheme can really change the dynamic of a player. Look at James Jones for Green Bay.
He got paid.
He got paid.
That is a wrap for Sports Talk Live, presented by the Chevy Silverado. SportsNet Central is next. The Cubs Classics at 7 o'clock. Have a great evening. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Do you live in America? Then you have the right to get out of debt. You can eliminate or reorganize and protect houses, vehicles, pension, and other assets. I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. America's debt-free law is called the United States Bankruptcy Code, and we're one of the oldest and largest debt relief agencies in America. Call us or click now.
If you're worried about debt, call now to see if you qualify. 1-800-401-4010.
The Chicago Cultural Mile Association invites you to ignite your imagination at the Halloween Gathering on October 24th. An all-day festival for all ages, children's costume procession, theater performances, kids workshops, a thriller flash mob, and a spectacle parade at night with over 100 creative groups. The Chicago Cultural Mile, conjuring Chicago's creative spirits at the Halloween Gathering on October 24th. Be astonished, be mesmerized, be there.
This year, our Freaky Fast in-store service will save customers over 8 million hours. That doesn't even count our amazing delivery. Because we try to locate our stores closer to your mouth, we save time there too. We know you'll use it well.
No matter how old you are, you never grow out of playing dress up. That's why Zulily offers a variety of styles. for girls and women of all ages. Every day, we offer great deals and amazing discoveries on unique items and brands you love. Shop Zulily.com and find something special every day.
So I heard about that new offer from AT&T and DirecTV, but they still lock you into a 2-year contract. That could cost you over $2,600, all for temperamental satellite TV service. AT&T and DirecTV, call it a new offer. But it's just the same old thing.
Don't fall for AT&T and DirecTV's latest offer. Only Xfinity delivers the fastest internet and the best TV experience with X1.
I'm Jake Arrieta, and you're watching the home of Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago.
Postseason bound. Cubs win. They finish the regular season on an 8-game winning streak, 97 and 65, and we're not done yet.
Oh, baby! Welcome to SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business. Mike's Night with Mark Shanowski. I am Pat Poyle. Jake Arrieta and the Northsiders get ready for Wednesday's wild card showdown in the Bird.
It's finally Victory Monday at Hallis Hall. Plus, we're asking who's going to skate with Taves and Hossa on the Blackhawks top line on Wednesday. Change coming to the White Sox broadcast booth. It's all straight ahead on SportsNet Central.
You are connected to SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business.
We kick things off with the hunt for October. An impressive 97-65 regular season behind him. It's down to one game in Pittsburgh to see who will advance to the NLDS and take on the St. Louis Cardinals. With a preview, here's David Kaplan.
The best hitter on the Pirates, one of the best players in the league. Arrieta has owned him here tonight.
Jake Arrieta dominated most teams in 2015, and the Pirates were no exception. The righty was 3-1 with an ERA of 0.75 in 5 starts against Pittsburgh.
They can prepare and game plan and try and change the way they attack me or the way they approach me. But at the end of the day, if I feel that if I execute pitches, it doesn't matter. And that's kind of the same thing with most guys. You know, if Garrett Cole goes out there with mid to upper 90 stuff and a good slider and executes from start to finish, he's going to be tough to beat too. So, I mean, that's the mindset I have, regardless of how they prepare. And they've prepared different for me multiple times, I'm sure of it. So, and I've still had plenty of success against them. So I intend to be the same guy.
John Lester has the most postseason appearances among Cubs pitchers, but Arrieta's Cy Young-worthy campaign made him an easy choice to start Wednesday night's contest. Jake says his lack of postseason experience is not a concern.
I haven't pitched in a postseason game, but you know, in 2012 with the Orioles, you know, I was in that atmosphere. I was in the environment. I had a feel of the surroundings, and I have an understanding of what that environment brings. I mean, for me, there's going to be people are going to be loud. They're going to be waving towels, but that's not enough for me to pitch any different or to change my mindset or to get overly nervous because of people making noise or people waving towels.
David Ross came to the Cubs to give the team a veteran leader in the clubhouse, and the catcher has some advice for his young teammates who are experiencing the postseason for the first time.
Oh, one thing that I will say is just have fun. It's going to be an environment that is a lot. You're going to look back on it when you're my age and say this is a cool spot that we're in. So we're looking forward to it.
I'm David Kaplan, Comcast SportsNet.
All right, Cap, we're going to get you in the mood for Wednesday's big game coming up at the top of the hour.
Whoa!
Not Gregory Polanco's finest moment. We're going to re-air the Cubs-Pirates game and that strange finish May 15th at Wrigley Field, one of the Cubs' Major League best 13 walk-off victories. I'm guessing it's not re-airing in Pittsburgh. It's coming up, though, right after SportsNet Central. And Comcast SportsNet has you covered throughout the Cubs' postseason run. Tonight, Kelly Krull will bring you We Are Good with unique behind-the-scenes features at 10:30. Tomorrow at 5, it's wild card warm-up. You'll hear from Joe Madden and company and the starting pitchers for that wild card game. Tomorrow night at 10:30, join Cap and Holly for SportsNet Central's Cubs playoff preview. And then Wednesday at 6 p.m., an hour-long edition of Cubs pregame live. Plus, Kelly will be reporting from PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
The center position has been one of the most stable for the Bears since the turn of the century. Since 1999, only Olin Kreutz, Roberto Garza, Brian De La Puente, and Will Montgomery have started at center for the Orange and Blue. That will change this week after Montgomery broke his leg yesterday and is done for the season. Kip Lewis with the next man up at Hallis Hall.
I just spent my time with my family, had a couple beers, and then a couple more. And
That's how Matt Slauson wound down after Sunday's win, and in some ways it was Slauson that saved the day, handling the center duties after regular starter Will Montgomery left on the first series with a fractured fibula.
I was spinning for a while, but you know, I think when I had to make that move, what helped me was that I didn't think about it. I was just locked in.
I thought it was tremendous. I think that early in the game, I think it was about the third play that Will went out. You know, it's a two-man switch. I wasn't all hunky-dory, but you know, I thought they didn't panic and you know, just kept swinging the sword and did pretty good.
Slauson said he's more than willing to handle the center position again, but would like to know early in the week if that's going to be the case Sunday in Kansas City.
If I'm going to be the center this week, then I would like to know that soon. I don't know what the plan is, but I have to be prepared for that spot. And even if I don't start in that spot, I still have to be ready to play it.
With Montgomery out for Sunday's game in Kansas City, the Bears have a few options at center. The first and most obvious is to leave Matt Slauson there. The second is to bring in an experienced center from the outside. And the final option is to elevate third-round pick Hronis Grasu, a natural center who is yet to be activated for any of the Bears' first 4 games.
I think he's a very talented player. He's a guy that's familiar with our offense. I think everybody in our locker room or in our football building has confidence in him. You know, some point we'll get to find out.
With the Bears at Hallis Hall, Kip Lewis, Comcast SportsNet.
All right, thank you very much. The phrase good as gold applies to Robbie Gould. He's been so successful, the most successful kicker in Bears franchise history. 54 and 49-yard field goals to win the game in the fourth quarter. Some fans are thinking, why don't you try to get him closer? You said you've got some history with kickers in their psyche.
Well, yeah, I'm sure John Fox had his reasoning, but you don't ever have it in your back pocket. And you know what? The interesting thing is every kicker believes that he can make it.
Sure.
I was fortunate to have Kevin Butler with me here at the Bears, you know, Hall of Fame kicker himself, arguably, you know, the best or one of the best that the Bears have ever had. And I remember a game, and it was going to the end of the game, and we're driving down, and Kevin comes up to me and says, just get it across the 50 and I'll kick it in. So I got that in my ear, and when I'm listening to the calls and how many timeouts, and you're kind of in the flow of the game, and he's screaming, just get it across the 50. Well, we get it across the 50, and as he's running out on the field, he stops, he turns around, he says, you got it on the right hash, didn't you? I said, right hash, you know. Get out there and kick it. He kicked it through. He came through.
Well, how long of a kick was it?
It was in the 40s. It was in the 40s, yeah.
Kevin Butler was a very accurate kicker. Well, Jay Cutler's a guy that's gotten a lot of criticism over the years. People say that he's not tough enough. He makes key mistakes. He came back ahead of schedule from this hamstring injury, didn't have his top receiver in Alshon Jeffrey, didn't have his starting left tackle in Jermon Bushrod, showed a lot of toughness in leading the Bears to that victory.
He did, and, you know, that can, if you're not really strong-minded as a quarterback, you can kind of talk yourself out of, uh-oh, I've got one of my top receivers missing. Boy, do I have confidence in going to the next guy up. Or I got, particularly with the offensive line, I've seen this happen before. Uh-oh, one of my tackles out, or my guard, whoever it might be. I don't know if I can hold the ball long enough. I may have to hurry my throws, and that usually results in negative plays, turnovers, incomplete passes. So you got to block all that stuff out. You got to trust the guys that are in there at any position. That's not easy to do. I thought Jay did a great job of it.
So the Bears go into Arrowhead Stadium, one of the toughest places to play next Sunday. Coach and I will be here to break it all down on Inside the Huddle next Sunday at 10:30. That's going to do it from here. We send it back over to the other side of the studio.
Guys, thanks. You won't be able to sit back, relax, and strap it down for an entire season with Hawk Harrelson next year. We will have the latest on the TV voice of the White Sox and his plans going forward. Will Kyle Schwarber be the Cubs' starting right fielder on Wednesday night? Todd Hollinsworth tells us why that might be a good idea defensively, especially at PNC Park. And Tabo time hits the lottery. We'll tell you where Tara Viner will be skating when the Hawks open up their season on Wednesday. This is SportsNet Central.
SportsNet Central, brought to you by Comcast Business. Comcast Business, built for business.
I just had a horrible nightmare. My company's entire network went down and I was home in bed unaware. But that would never happen. Comcast Business monitors my company's network 24 hours a day and calls and emails me if something like this scary storm takes it offline, so I can rest easy. What, you don't have a desk bed?
Don't be left in the dark. Get proactive alerts 24/7. Comcast Business, built for business.
Leaves, falling by the millions. Even the most cutting-edge technology can't stop them, but it can help you clean them up. Technology like the Cyclone Rake. 6 high-tech innovations built into this powerful workhorse are found only in the Cyclone Rake, like their JetPath vacuum system. It's aerodynamically designed without sharp edges to create maximum airflow and tremendous suction power that virtually eliminates clogging. And here's the patented Miracle Impeller. It helps generate 10 times the lifting power of a regular mower. Check out this beast, a commercial-grade Briggs & Stratton Vanguard engine. Best of all, it folds flat in 5 minutes for storage almost anywhere. It even hangs easily on a wall. The Cyclone Rake is covered in patents, making it the world's most advanced machine for easy property cleanup.
To learn more, call 1-800-811-5962 for your free information kit and mention this promo code 15194. Call now.
Still haven't tried FanDuel's one-week fantasy football leagues? Over 1 million fans have already won money. Choose a league. They start at $1. Pick your team. Done. Winners get paid the next day and there's no season-long commitment. FanDuel pays out $75 million a week. Get off the sidelines and get some. Try FanDuel today. We'll match your first deposit up to $200. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Go to FanDuel.com, enter promo code YARDAGE2. That's YARDAGE2.
It's a new White Sox franchise record of 270 strikeouts for Chris Sale. Ball high and deep, way back. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. You gotta be bleeping me.
Well, you won't be hearing those distinctive calls quite as much next year. Longtime White Sox play-by-play voice Hawk Harrelson has decided to cut back on his schedule for the 2016 campaign. Harrelson will now call 78 road games, plus opening day at U.S. Cellular Field and the White Sox 2 home games in the Crosstown Series against the Cubs. Meanwhile, surprising news out of New York on the eve of the Yankees hosting the American League wildcard game against Houston. Their former ace, CC Sabathia, announced that he's leaving the team immediately to seek treatment for alcoholism, and he will not pitch in the postseason. Sabathia had the worst year of his career, going 6-10 with a 4.73 earned run average, but he pitched better late in the year and was expected to get a start in the division series if the Yankees advance.
Back to the playoff-bound Cubs. Joe Madden has some decisions to make about what starting lineup he'll use Wednesday night against Garrett Cole. This past weekend, Kyle Schwarber played right field for just the 3rd time this season. And our Cubs analyst, Todd Hollinsworth, says that may have been a preview of what Madden could do in the wild card game.
Here's the thing about PNC Park. Right field is actually the easier of the corner outfields
in Pittsburgh. Left field is a challenge. You have to almost look at it like a flipped Boston. With the green monster in that wall, you have a shorter porch. There's less distance between your outfielder and the infield. And as you can see right there on the monitor, there's less ground for your right fielder to cover, thus less responsibility. This is more that Chris Bryant can cover the ground just a little bit better than Kyle Schwarber. This isn't that he's the better outfielder or that he's got a quicker step. It's just the flat-out fact that he covers more ground. And as you look over to left field, you can see how much bigger, as I say, it's about half a football field that you've got to cover for your center fielder and your left fielder. Now, let's remember this. Jake Arrieta, there's a lot of action to the right side of the infield. Right-handed hitters trying to let that ball get a little bit deeper, going the other way. Normally, what you want to do with your outfield is you move them together. So if your center fielder's moving, say, 3 steps to his right, you want to pull Kyle Schwarber 3 steps to his right. Chris Bryant would move 3 steps to his right if that's your outfield. But at that ballpark, you have to be very careful, and you also have to consider that Jake Arrieta is on the mound, and there's a lot of action down the right field line. Matter of fact, both lines. So you can't pull Kyle Schwarber too far over into that gap as well, or you've got no man's land over there, and you certainly don't want to create that scenario for you. So I think what you're trying to see here, what Joe's trying to do in the Milwaukee series, is get Kyle Schwarber comfortable in right field so that he can cover that ground there, give the responsibility to Chris Bryant and Dexter Fowler for covering that football field out in left and right at PNC Park.
Well, here's another sign of the Cubs' growing popularity nationwide. The likely NL Rookie of the Year, Chris Bryant. Well, he had the top-selling jersey in all of baseball for the regular season. The sale of all Cubs merchandise is up 80% over last season. Anthony Rizzo also cracked the top 10 in jersey sales, checking in at number 8.
Joel Quenneville joked during training camp, referring to Brandon Saad's spot on the top line as the hockey equivalent of winning the lottery. With defense of their latest Stanley Cup beginning on Wednesday, Teuvo Teravainen is holding the winning ticket for now. 21-year-old will begin skating with 2 future Hall of Famers, Jonathan Toews and Marian Hossa, starting Wednesday.
Great players, of course, so much talent, so much experience in those guys. They win, I win a lot, and I just try to enjoy my chance and try to be myself with those guys.
It's a big step, but it's real good quality ice time when you play with those guys, and not an easy job, but certainly we feel he's capable of playing the offensive side of things there and the defensive side as well.
And with that, we're just 2 days away from the Hawks raising their 6th Stanley Cup banner to the Raptors at the United Center. We're going to have an hour-long edition of Blackhawks pregame live coming your way at 6 o'clock on CSN+. NHL has handed down the longest suspension in league history for a hit on another player. Rafi Torres has been banned for 41 games, or half the season, for an illegal hit on Jakob Silfverberg. Torres is a repeat offender, including a 21-game suspension for a hit on Marian Hossa a few years back. This is his 5th suspension. This will cost the Sharks forward over $440,000 in lost salary.
I think a lifetime ban may have been in order there.
Probably next.
Wow. Well, Jake Arrieta had no problem mowing down opposing hitters all season long. And the same actually holds true for people who try to challenge him on Twitter. We'll explain. And Fred Hoiberg and the Bulls get ready to open their preseason schedule tomorrow night at the United Center against a very familiar opponent.
Hey, Ralph Punzel.
Oh, hey, Ronnie.
Where are you headed?
Great Clips.
You're getting a haircut?
I checked in already. He's in their online check-in.
Online check?
It saves you time.
You're getting a haircut.
Why? Thinking about applying to astronaut school.
That's cool.
Okay, I'll see you, Ronnie.
Next time, save time. Download the online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
How am I at home? Getting out of my bed, looking out, seeing the city, seeing people that I grew up with every day, getting off on Damon. That's when everything started to click. You kind of feel like a performer. You know, everybody's trying to get everything set up to see you perform. Me being from Chicago, it's personal. I was one of them kids that wasn't supposed to be where I'm at right now, and I'm able to affect so many lives.
Where should you get advice about getting out of debt?
Geraci Law is one of the oldest and largest debt relief law firms in the country. I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. Whether you're high income or low, rent or own, if you need advice about mortgages, bill collectors, foreclosure, finance companies, or almost any debt problem, call Geraci Law or click now.
If you're worried about debt, call now to see if you qualify. 1-800-401-4010.
How much money do you have in your pocket right now?
I have $40.
21. Could something that small make an impact on something as big as your retirement?
I don't think so.
Well, if you start putting that money towards your retirement every week and let it grow over time for 20, 30 years, that retirement challenge might not seem so big after all.
Prudential. Bring your challenges.
Welcome back. Jake Arrieta with a bit of trash talking with a Pirates fan on Twitter last night, @PirateParrot. You know he's a loyal fan. Tweeted, "Be ready for a sea of black with the hashtag crowd is going to eat you alive." Jake responded by tweeting, "Whatever help keeps your hope alive, dude. Just know it doesn't matter." The Cubs ace clarified what he meant earlier today.
And what I was referring to was the crowd. You know, I just don't think it's not going to affect the way I pitch. I'm going to go out there and prepare and execute like I have been. Not saying that I won't make a mistake throughout the game, but, you know, it's up to them to capitalize on those mistakes.
Jake Arrieta supremely confident going into that wild card game. Time for Built for Business, presented by Comcast Business. And when you look at the numbers, you can see why he's so confident. In 5 starts against the Pirates this season, his earned run average is .75. The closest to that in Cubs history, 1.02 by the great Hippo Vaughn in 1919, and Big Z, Carlos Zambrano, in 2004. By the way, Arrieta received another honor from the league. He is your National League Pitcher of the Month for September. That's tonight's Comcast Business, Built for Business. Much different story in the nation's capital. Matt Williams takes the fall for the Nationals' disappointing season. Williams and his entire coaching staff fired today by GM Mike Rizzo. Washington began the season as the betting favorite to win the World Series after they added Max Scherzer in free agency. But the Nats faded badly in the second half, finishing 7 games behind the NL East champion Mets.
Speaking of firings, we had one in the NFL today. 1-3 Dolphins parted ways with Joe Philbin, who was in the infancy of his 4th year with the team. Tight ends coach Dan Campbell will take over as interim head coach for the rest of the year. No coach since Don Shula has completed more than 4 full seasons with the Dolphins. Only Jimmy Johnson and Dave Wanstead have had multiple winning seasons. Well, let's be honest, college football rankings should not start until probably right about now, early October. If that was the case, Ohio State would probably not be ranked #1. No way would Michigan State still be in the top 4. And you could make a case Northwestern would be higher than their number 13 ranking, thanks to quality wins over Stanford and Duke and that shutout victory Saturday against Minnesota to start Big Ten play. But now Pat Fitzgerald's crew heads to Ann Arbor to face 4-1 Michigan, and the Cats still haven't forgot about losing to the Wolverines by a point last season.
They kicked our ass. All you do is pop on the tape. They kicked our ass. That's the bottom line, and it's not real hard to watch. Just pop it on, and it's like Tommy Boy. Not here. I mean, there's marks all over the place for us offensively, and we got thumped. So it's going to be a huge challenge. Those guys are all back. A couple guys have graduated, but I'm all back. So you need to bring our big boy pads. It's Big Ten football.
That was a wide-ranging soundbite. We got the bleep machine and some coaching cliches and Tommy Boy. That was good stuff. Well, Fred Hoiberg will go with a makeshift lineup in tomorrow's preseason opener against the Bucks. You can watch the game right here on Comcast SportsNet at 7 p.m. Because of injuries, Derrick Rose, Mike Dunleavy, Taj Gibson, and Kirk Heinrich will all sit the game out, along with Pau Gasol, who's getting a veteran's rest day after competing for Spain in Eurobasket this summer. That means Joakim Noah, Nico Mirotic, and Tony Snell start up front, with Jimmy Butler and Etuan Moore in the backcourt. As for Hoiberg, he's looking forward to his coaching debut at the United Center.
I'm excited to see, how everything goes. Generally, that first game is pretty sloppy, and after watching a lot of these preseason games, you've seen that. We'll, probably not as much movement as you'd like in that first one. But, hopefully we'll go out and compete and play hard. That's the things you're looking for, and play well and play unselfish. Hopefully we'll clean up on some of the turnovers that we've been having at this point. But again, it's going to be great to get out there and get that first game under our belt and then learn from it.
We are coming right back with more SportsNet Central. Stay with us.
Great time for a shiny floor wax, no? Not if you just put the finishing touches on your latest masterpiece. Timing's important. Comcast Business knows that. That's why you can schedule an installation at a time that works for you, even late at night or on the weekend if that's what you need, because you have enough to worry about. I did not see that coming.
Don't deal with disruptions. Get better internet installed on your schedule. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Ever wish you could go back in time? Now you can with Restart from DirecTV. When you connect your DirecTV DVR to the internet, never worry about tuning in late again. When you see this icon, you can instantly go back to the beginning of a show, even if you didn't record it. With DirecTV, time has met its match. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
When it comes to fulfilling our customers' expectations, Gerald Subaru of North Aurora has earned a reputation for excellence. We are one of an elite group of Subaru dealers awarded the Subaru Stellar Care Award for excellence in customer satisfaction. Gerald Subaru of North Aurora has one of the largest Subaru inventories in Chicagoland, which means you can drive home today in the Subaru of your choice. Plus, all Gerald vehicles are covered by an exclusive lifetime warranty. Gerald Subaru of North Aurora is dedicated to you. Gerald Subaru of North Aurora is always a better deal, I guarantee it.
Ah, the colorful leaves are falling, and the temperatures will soon follow. At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we're all set to help you get your home buttoned up tight for winter. Right now, pick up this portable electric heater from King Electric. It's only $34.99. Save on a 16-pack of Rayovac AA or AAA batteries. Your choice, $5.99. And a 5-window indoor insulator kit from 3M is now just $9.99. Genuine value. That's Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
We are back with our Great Clips download of the week, featuring the most popular video on csnchicago.com. This week features a receiver from Division III Knox College here in Illinois, very alertly making a catch with his feet. To see more, you can log on to csnchicago.com and download the Great Clips app on your iPhone or Android. When I saw that the first time, I was wondering if that was a legal catch, but it did come.
Hey, coming up tonight at 10:30, Cubs fans, we've got We Are Good show, which is going to kind of take a look back at 2015, a lot of behind-the-scenes features. You don't want to miss that. Thanks for watching SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business.
And up next is one of the most entertaining finishes from the Cubs' 2015 season, an extra inning win over Pittsburgh at Wrigley Field back in May. I don't think Gregory Polanco was watching, but we hope you enjoy it.
What's the key to business success? Stay on your toes and keep moving. Whether you're launching a new product or fighting off hackers, business has to be ready for anything. And your IT needs to support it. Forsyth Technology, together with leading partners like Cisco and Red Hat, and technology supported by Intel, will help you get ready and stay ready by leveraging the power of the cloud without compromising security and control, giving your business a lasting competitive advantage.
No matter how old you are, you never grow out of playing dress up. That's why Zulily offers a variety of styles for girls and women of all ages. Every day, we help you find unique items and brands you love at up to 70% off. Shop Zulily.com and find something special every day.
Country Financial wants to know,
What if you could own your future?
I mean, I would spend it with family and friends. Travel more.
Retire. Can make decisions that aren't fear-based about money.
At Country Financial, we take the time to get to know you so we can develop a plan with insurance and financial solutions to help you take charge of where you want to be.
Have that fear removed from my mind.
To help you own your future.
To be in control of your future.
Visit ownyourfuture.com to find a local Country Financial representative today.
It's that time of year. There's going to be a lot that scares you. Replacing your windows shouldn't be one of them.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Right now, get 2 windows for the price of 1, plus no money down and no interest until 2017.
Hurry, this treat and 2 windows for the price of 1 ends soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Are you stressed out over debt? Unsure of what to do? I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. At Geraci Law, we help you file Chapter 7 or 13 bankruptcy and take your debt stress away. Our clients feel much better after we help them, and you can too. If you're stressed over debt, faced with foreclosure, lawsuits, bill collectors, call or click now.
If you're worried about debt, call now to see if you qualify. 1-800-401-4010.